Authorization to appoint acting fiscal court clerk. Need a motion? I will. Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson. Here. Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Here. Magistrate Robinson. Here. Magistrate Dodson.
Here.
Magistrate Varney.
Here.
Judge Deskins.
Yes.
Judge, I assume that those here responses were yes responses to the retention of Penny Burke as our temporary clerk today.
I was going to do that, but you've already done it. I need approval of minutes of June the 29th, 2015, June the 30th, 2015, and July the 2nd, 2015. Motion. Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson.
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes. Public comment. Alec Burnett.
Good morning, members of the fiscal court meeting here. To Judge Deskins and Magistrates-elect and all the other members here. I'm coming before you on behalf of the community of Stone Cold Creek on the concerning a public cemetery. There's public cemetery at the forks of the creek there on Stone Cold. It's where Clevenger waterway and the head of Stone Cold right-of-way meets. Now, why I say this is because at one time, right above that where they meet, there was an access over to and up the hill to the cemetery. Now, we have many people buried there in the community. Our family members, we have Civil War veterans buried there. We have World War I veterans there. We have World War II veterans there. And there are many families there that's well known throughout the community and throughout Pike County. As you have some Allens, you got Tibbs, Gillums, Lees, Williamson, Johnson, Cochran's, and many more. And this cemetery always had a dedicated access to it. And as far as I know, the Allens owned it at one time, and they sold it to J. Mont Bevins. And then J. Mont Bevins sold it to Ruth Scott. No, well, she used to be Ruth Cochran, but she married Russ Scott. Thereby, it became known as the Scott land. But anyway, they always give us access across that bottom and up to the cemetery. Well, the railroad has come through there, and they've destroyed that access, and they have prevented us from being able to go back and decorate the graves and to clean it off. We had one of the county members here that did send some men back there and cleaned it off one time. So I think it was Scott. A little nervous, so you can tell. But anyway, the jailer at that time, Rodney Scott. So Rodney Scott sent some men back there, and they cleaned some of it off, but they just barely made a dent in it. And it's in real bad shape. So we don't have no access to get there. People around there has land that we could get there with, but they deny letting us go across that land. So we've talked to the railroad. My sister Ruby Lee has been up to talk to the people in Pennsylvania and talk to people here in Pikeville, and they are not making any response to it. They're not trying to help us in any way retain that access that we used to have. So I'm coming before the fiscal meeting this day, asking that the county might look into this matter and see if they can help us acquire an access to that road. It's got a road up the hill on the other side of the railroad, and you can get a four-wheel drive back there, but you can't get to it to get back there with the vehicle.
Judge, I asked Mr. Burnett to come to the court meeting today. Me and him talked on the telephone this week, and I told him I didn't quite understand who owned the property, and we'd talk to the county attorney and find out where we stand on this situation and try to get him some assistance on getting that cemetery taken care of. And he says there's many graves buried, people buried there, and I appreciate you coming and explaining everything to us, Mr. Burnett. It's hard to understand things on the telephone sometimes, and our county attorney has got the wisdom to tell us what direction to go in, and then we'll take off.
Well, I sure appreciate, and the community would too. So I talked to Ron Reynolds' office a year back or so, and I always left a message, but I never got a return call. But when I called you, Mr. Dotson, in 2 or 3 days you gave me a call back. So I surely appreciate your efforts and hope you all carry through and get us an access to this cemetery. Thank you very much.
Judge, and
Thank you, Alec.
Magistrate Dotson, I would suggest, with your approval, Judge, that we direct the Road Commissioner, Jackie Darrell Smith, to go out and investigate this, make a report back to the County Attorney's Office, and so we can look into doing whatever we can do to give those folks some relief.
Don, would the railroad, where they built the railroad through there after, the cemetery's already there, would they have to leave some kind of a right-of-way, or?
I don't know that I'm prepared to answer that right now. I want to get the report. I want to see what's been out there. I don't know if there's been a crossing there or just how they've got across the tracks before. I don't know if the railroad took out a crossing. Is that what happened?
We had access long before the railroad was ever built. We had an access.
Okay.
And once the railroad come through there was no railroad crossing there because there wasn't a railroad. But when the railroad came through there, they didn't leave a crossing for us to get through that area.
When did the railroad come through there?
Well,
About when? 10 years ago, 20 years ago?
well, we all know that they came that way because of the mountain over there where there's burning up so many engines. So they made a tunnel through the hill there at Miller's Creek over into Stone Coal. And in that area, I would say that's been about 20, maybe 25 years ago.
Okay. Well, give us a chance to get all these facts together, and if there's any relief to be done, you can rest assured we'll do it.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Jackie
Thank
Darrell.
you, physical court members, for listening to this matter.
Thank you.
Jackie Darrell, look into the matter. Thank you. Charlotte Adkins.
Good morning. I'm Charlotte Atkins. I live on Upper Pompey, and as most of you know, Upper Pompey is a mudslide area, and so we, the community, just came, and we was going to try to get some answers on the updates or what's happening there. We've talked to so many people, and we've heard so many different things, and so we were going to. I have a few questions. We talked with Jimmy Kaiser, and we was going to see, we signed some papers agreeing to enter into a grant program that you were going to apply for, and we were wondering how that was going.
We're still working on it now. We're getting all the information and stuff together, and we'll get the grant rope to try to get this money.
I know we're low priority considering Johnson County, and so we just wanted to see if it was still on in the process and all that.
Yeah, he'll be a completely separate thing.
Okay. But is it through FEMA? Did you say it was through FEMA?
No.
It is through FEMA? Okay. And you said something about maybe some appraisers were gonna come out, and we haven't seen anybody yet, and we wondered about that.
We'll probably have to get the grant and stuff wrote first.
Okay, so I'm done.
That'll be part of the process. He'll be out and appraised before we write the grant, so we'll know what our budget and stuff's
Okay.
gonna be.
Okay, and several, I know I had spoken with you and my mother and a few of the people in our little holler, and you know, there's not many of us down in there. If it was gonna, you know, is everybody gonna need to sign that paper, or is it, you know, we just gotta wait for the process, or?
Yeah, just be patient.
We will, we'll try our best.
Yeah.
The mudslide that is on the county road, the main county road, where that the bus runs on, I had spoken with the bus driver that comes down in there, and this was before school went out, and at the White House on Arlen Atkins' property, right behind his house where there's a lot of sliding area there. There's like a little group of trees, and they're good-sized trees, and the roots are sliding forward, and the tops of the trees are coming down. And when I spoke with the bus driver before school went out, she had said the top of the bus is starting to touch, those trees are starting to touch the top of the bus as she goes under. And since we've had more rain in just the last, couple weeks, those trees have come down farther down. They're closer down to the road, and so we just had a concern about if maybe we could get those, get that looked at and make sure that it's going to be safe for the bus to come down through there.
Jackie, Darrell, you care to? You're a little.
Oh, yeah,
afraid of
there's no
trees.
problem for us to take care of the trees and things, yeah. Ron was over in there checking it out yesterday and
Was he?
everything. There's no problem to get that done, and
Okay,
everything.
because we want for sure that, and the road is so soft there, and then on down just another quarter of a mile, I guess, on down there, where the road keeps falling down, and we keep filling it up, and the road falls down. It's really soft through there too, so we was just wondering if y'all gonna do anything before school
He
started.
was checking it out yesterday. I haven't talked to him this morning on what he said, but we can take care of filling that in and everything. And Representative Leslie Combs is still working on it too. And Brian, has AML got back with their final report yet?
Not yet. We checked last week. AML hasn't come back with anything yet. We're
No.
still waiting patiently for it.
They, actually, AML has been, they came last week, I think the supervisor, maybe from Frankfurt, maybe, from Leslie Combs' office. He came and, we're very polite, nice gentleman. And, he said that they hadn't made their final decision, that they had some more assessments to do. And so he sent a gentleman out yesterday, and I guess he was probably over in the holler probably 6 or 7 hours, and he walked. I know Jimmy has some maps, and the gentleman that was there yesterday, I mean, he was probably on my mother, mine, my father-in-law's property, all that big old slide area. Well, he said there are a lot of things that aren't on your map. So he's made new documentation. So as soon as, I'm hoping that you guys can get that map too, because he told us, he said, there are a lot of things on that map there are a lot of things that are not on that map that need to be on that map. For example, behind my house, we had one slide when AML had came out before, and the county and everybody who's came out, and I have two now because we had all this big rain, and we have a huge crack in our land behind some big trees, and he talked with us about that, and he walked all the property, and so he told me, he said, they'll make their decision on what he's put down, and
Yeah, he told me week before last that he would, that was the guy at AML said he would be back last Tuesday. He was coming back to walk the slide.
yeah, and he did.
All right, and then I've not been up with him, and I was gone yesterday, and I was waiting to get up with him to see what
Yeah,
they're gonna do and what they
Yeah.
can and can't do, so
Yeah.
then I know what to do.
yeah, that's what he was saying. He said, actually, I said, well, what do you think? And of course, you know, he couldn't tell us anything. But he did take water samples and that kind of thing again, videoed and marked things off on the map. But he said the answer is in my backpack. So he said as soon as his supervisor gets it, so it shouldn't be lying with that answer. But I think he said that if they had to build the wall, if it actually was mine-related, which he didn't seem to think it was, that it would have to start way above the county road and then, you know, all the way to our house. So it'd be almost like they would almost have to remove an entire mountain to repair it. But he seemed to think that it wasn't mine-related, so I don't know.
Didn't think it was.
No, he didn't think so.
That's the impression I got.
Yeah. And let's see what else. He did say this, and this is just a personal comment he made, and I hope you all just take it into consideration with the speed and the work and all that you have to do with the grant. But like my husband is a bedfast patient, and we worry all the time because there's no way I could move him. He can't be moved, and by myself, of course. And I have 4 grandchildren who live right next door to me, and they're all of us are in the same situation, and my mother. But I just asked him. I just said, you know, if you lived here, what would you do? And he said, if they gave rain, I would leave. And so I want y'all to take that into consideration because it's really cracked. And the last storm we had, there was water running out between 2 rocks at my house. And it was like a creek. And there were no water running down the hill. It was just 2 big rocks. And it was just like a fountain of water gushing out of that rocks. And it went 6 feet and it disappeared again. And it was going into the mountain right at our house. So anything y'all could do to speed up the process, or anything you could do just to ease our minds so when we go to bed tonight, we won't be afraid. So anything you all do would be appreciated. And I can't think of anything else. Thank you all for listening.
Okay, appreciate you being here, and we'll keep working on it hard as we can because it is a scary situation over there. If AML don't want to do it and say they can repair it, I still want them to get engineers to let us know how they're going to fix it.
Judge, if I may, I know we're in public comments, but I noticed that Donovan Blackburn is in the courtroom. He was invited to discuss a legal matter, the pending lawsuit that this court has filed against Department of Local Government as it relates to Marion's branch, and he's running on a tight schedule. I promised we'd get him in and get him out. We can do that in executive session because it does relate to at least a partial resolution of that lawsuit. And Judge, I'd like to request at this time that we take a break. I know we've got Ms. Rose ready to make a public comment, and but we do need to take care of that, and we can just do that in executive session, and we won't take up personnel or anything like that. We'll just discuss this lawsuit, and I would like, Judge, to request that we go into executive session at this time for the specific purpose of discussion of pending litigation.
I need a motion.
Yes, Judge. I'd like to make a motion then that we go into executive session according to KRS 61.810, paragraph C, litigation. I'll make that motion right as of now.
Second. Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Desmond?
Yes. Court come to order. On public comment, Erwin Morricks.
Thank you. Just want to get back to this Upper Pompey deal. We got a lot of problems up there, and we got getting no help, and I just want to know if we're going to do anything.
We're trying.
Well, what it looks like right now, AML has been up there 7 or 8 times. I mean, and every time they say if it's not before 82, we can't help. My dog don't have to be told no 7 times. Somebody needs to go to another route. And they're telling this lady back here that it's not mine related. Well, if it's not mine related, why is McCoy Elkhorn, or Fortress now that bought them out, supplying all them families with water? And why did they give $1 million to get city water if they wasn't at fault? You know, it is mine related, and they've admitted it by doing that. And they're supplying us with water right now, still, Fortress is. So if McCoy's not responsible because of bankruptcy, then it's Fortress or the parent company, James River Coal. Somebody needs to do something. Now, personally, I don't want to go. If you can't fix the road, I will go. Don't have a choice. But something needs to be done one way or the other besides AML. They're not going to. I mean, 7 times they've said, no, we can't do it. It's just about time to quit asking them.
Yeah, I think.
John Doug, you have any
Well,
comment on
the last time we went up there, which me and Leslie Combs and AML went up there probably 4 weeks ago, and my understanding is AML at that point is started reevaluating it again about what is their responsibility. That's what the court's waiting on right now, is for AML to come back and let us know what percentage of the responsibility may be theirs.
Well, wasn't it last Friday's paper that they had in it again that they was going up there, but if it wasn't before 82, they couldn't do nothing?
Yeah, AML's not saying everything was done before 82. What they're saying is some of it was done after 82, which they would be filed of, is what they're saying now. They're reevaluating to see what percentage was done after 82. Is that correct, Jimmy?
Yeah, if anything before 82, they can spend these federal dollars on that. But anything after that, they can't. And this is federal money, and there's only certain ways that money can be spent.
Mm-hmm.
They can't fix a road. They can't buy people out. The only thing that AML could do is to remove that slide. And if like they've been there last week, and they're going to, I'm sure by this week they'll make their determination of whether or not it's anything to do with AML. And then they'll decide if they're going to do anything. If they don't, then it would fall back to us if we can find some kind of money to help you. And then we have to do a grant, and then it has to get approved for that.
And you're working on that right
I'm
now
working
also,
on
ain't
that
you?
as
I mean, we're covering every basis that we could cover at this point, correct?
Yeah, we're working on it right now.
Jimmy, what you're saying is AML is not going to do any buyouts.
They would not.
That's
they
off
won't.
the table. All they're going to do is
they-
go in and repair it.
It's my understanding that AML cannot spend federal dollars to buy out houses. That's just something that they can't do. They can't even fix the road.
Correct. All they can do is just fix
Now,
the slide.
unless if they may have to buy a house to fix a slide, or I'm speaking where I really don't know. But I know they can't just come in and buy homes out. Or
I guess what question I had, Jimmy, was the lady talking about her living under the slide. Couldn't they go ahead and buy her out? And
I remember,
for her safety?
I remember a buddy of mine that's house right over here on Town Mountain, and the trees was coming right off the hill, right with the slide, and they told him, we cannot buy you out. We can fix the slide, but we can't buy you, unless it has to be to. I would suppose to. if they couldn't fix the slide with that home being there, they'd probably have to.
Just to be clear, the grants that you're looking at, that the main purpose of them grants are a buyout.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, I
have
just wanted to
nothing
make
do
that
with the
clear.
slide. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't.
So AOML's looking at the slides and the slide, and then the grants is part of the buyout process.
Jimmy, has FEMA looked at it yet?
No. But now this is where this money will come from.
But how soon can you get FEMA to look at it?
We've asked FEMA to go in there.
Well, I don't think FEMA will look at it as far as that, because it wouldn't be, I don't know how to word it. The grant that we're going out after is FEMA money, and it's to mitigate problems.
But the grants take so long to get.
Yeah, it takes a while to
It might be a year or so, 2 years.
But the grants.
I think that's what he's saying here today. What are we gonna do to try to speed it up? Is that right?
Yeah, and all I'm saying is AML says we can't, we got guidelines, this is what we can do. Then they can do nothing.
Well, see,
McCoy has admitted that they ruined the water. So if that water in a half circle around me, a complete half circle, 12 families at the beginning, some of them didn't own their property and has moved away now, but in a half circle around me, that whole head of that holler, 12 families they've been delivering water to. Drinking water costs. And they've been delivering water to these people since '07 and still doing it. Fortress Resources is paying now, but they're doing it under McCoy Elkhorn name. Harmon Branch, McCoy is back running. Up Johns Creek is still running. They have admitted to doing this. If we can't get AML, which they say we can't spend it, we got this we can spend it on. We got $100 we can buy cigarettes and nothing else. That don't help us. You know, we need to go after somebody responsible. And if McCoy can't be held responsible now because of bankruptcy, Fortress that bought them out should be, or James River Coal, the parent company. Somebody's got to do something. These people, I got a neighbor down there, loved like a brother, and he's fixing to get covered up. And I'm going to raise more Cain than a little if that happens, because we sat around and try to blame one another.
But Erman, those people have been blocked in there in Upper Pompey since '67. And it's impossible to be this long, but there it is. I've always wanted to get those people unblocked. And in my session in '03 when I started, talked to the congressman, and he said, well, we do what we can. And nobody seems to want to care about you people up there, and I do.
Exactly. Nobody
They've
wants
been wronged, I don't know how many times.
Federal government
Should have been bought
promised
out
us.
then.
Federal government promised us, Army Corps promised us, we will buy up to here where the flood will go. And we'll build the rest of your road out there. You don't have to leave. In '63, 50 years ago. And now not only did they not build us a road, but everything we do to try to get a road, they fight us on.
Yeah.
That Army Corps up there had no business of paying, or Fiscal Corps had no business of paying some engineer for 4 surveys when you could go up there with a level dozer and come straight out there and be within 28 foot of the top. That was nonsense. Army Corps wanted that road down where they could use it, where it best suits them, not for the people up there. And that's the bottom line. But that is mine related, or McCoy wouldn't be a paying for this water that they're still delivering.
Well, I can promise you I will not quit trying to get it done. Now, those
Judge?
people under that slide up there, potential slide, I'm worried about them because it's just an extremely dangerous place.
It is.
And I'm worried about a slide coming in at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and wiping out the families.
Judge, we're working on that too. That's part of this grant.
Well, do everything you can.
So we got no timeline still of what can be done. I mean, they're not going to try to fix a road. They're not going to try to get them out of there until somebody gets killed, and then we can ask the governor to declare a state of emergency.
Let me ask Jimmy one more question. When you just said that's part of the grant, you're talking about fixing the road, correct?
Yeah, that,
On the back end, the buyout, then fix the road
yeah, that.
from
that
the
would
same
be
grant?
Part of the grant is to, if something happens, then we'll try to get the money to finish this road, to be part of this main grant, that if something happens, then they'll have another way out.
When did this grant become available?
3 weeks ago,
That's,
about 3 weeks
so
ago.
you've been on it since day one, ain't you? I know me and you had a long conversation about it. Did this grant money just come available 3 weeks ago? I wanted you to understand that as well, that Jimmy's worked on this for the last month, trying to get the grant process in line.
Yeah, I've talked to him
And
about it.
Lisa.
Lisa too.
Yeah.
But we still got AML coming up, is what I'm saying. They're coming up and still saying I can't do nothing. But the mines should be accountable. They should be accountable still. If they're still in business, or if the people that bought them out is responsible for my water, then they ought to still be responsible for that land.
I believe that's what Leslie Combs told him when she took him back up there. I think Leslie looked at him and said, you know, you're bringing water up here, and you built this barrier behind the trailer mobile home up there. And then she looked at him and said, you know, this right here is your DNA on this holler. I mean, you can't tell us that you're not up here and you're not accountable. And that's the reason why AMLs went back to reevaluate it.
Okay. I just wanted to get my say in there so you know how I feel about it. And if this boy gets covered up, I'll be back. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming. Judge, if you don't care, Tony Tackett needs to address the court on some tourism events coming up in the future.
Thank you, Judge Deskins, Assistant Judge Morris, and Pike County Fiscal Court. Want to just update you on a few things. Healthy Fun Fair, which is American National University, is hosting this Thursday, next Thursday, July the 30th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Exams, school physicals, health screenings for all ages. And of course, Pikeville Medical Center, Highlands, Dr. Scott Akers, and Pearson are all sponsors of that. It's free health screens for any age. Once again, vision, cholesterol, glucose, blood pressure, physical exams, school exams, all of that. Once again, that's Thursday, July the 30th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There'll also be a mock disaster triage trailers. So we would love to have any of you that need those services, please show up and be there for those services. A couple things I want to bring to your attention. Of course, we've been working in the last 6 months to make sure that Pikeville and Pike County is noted when it comes to motor coaches, conferences, and conventions. Last week, we had a conference of 330 in for Farm Bureau, Young Ag agents. They were all over our region and, of course, brought to Pikeville, Pike County about $80,000 in revenue in hotel, conference, convention, tourist sites, food, and lodging. So we were very blessed with that. This past Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we had 3 motor coaches. As you see these pictures, our motor coaches lodged inside the city of Pikeville at the Hilton and the Hampton. We had blocked down all rooms. We had 156 visitors from Savannah, Georgia. Just to give you a little thought on what motor coaches, 3 motor coaches inside the city of Pikeville and out into the county of Pike can drop anywhere from $32,000 to $50,000 at historic sites, hotels, lodgings, food, and then, of course, their area attractions. Our review today, this morning at 8 a.m. with the conference call with them, projected, we had our score evaluated. We were a 98.5. It's the largest score that these 3 motor coaches has given any vicinity in their 27 visits just this year. And I will tell you, a lot of that has to do with our community, our lodging, our restaurants, and our historic sites. I want to thank Pike County Fiscal Court for making sure that this courthouse was open as a historic spot this past Saturday. Your room that you're in now, where Cotton Top Mounts was tried, was one of the most valuable spots on that, along with the well and many other sites. We give them an itinerary of 3 itineraries to go by. Within 3 weeks, 21 days prior to their arrival, they come to us with that itinerary rebuilt and what they want to see. Of course, we provided local music, Appalachian culture, bluegrass, and gospel to them. And it was a success, and I appreciate Lisa Estep coming and being part of that. Our county always steps up, our city always steps up and makes sure. On saying that, we have a return of them. On August the 4th, 5th, and 6th, they will return, and then the last with one motor coach, and the last week of September, they will return with 2 motor coaches. And what we're trying to build is this agenda with them to make sure that our arts and heritage is displayed during their arrival. For instance, this past week, 2 of our guides were from Artist Collaborative Theater, telling the story of Hatfield and McCoy, the coal mining industry, and of course, our heritage. Leading to that, on your lap, you'll see a brochure. This is a Kentucky Waterways and Adventure brochure created outside of Lexington, and this is the front cover of Pikeville, Pike County. The interior, as you will notice, is similar to what we will be doing when our ATV trails, our water trails, and our horse trails for advertising to make sure people know exactly what we have once those are completely created. Also, the Hatfield and McCoy Heritage Days rack card is out. It is just a taste of what will be going on. We're creating that brochure, which is a 6-panel brochure, as we speak today. Those dates for Hatfield and McCoy Heritage Days is September 24th, 25th, 26th. Just to tell you a little bit about that weekend, we will have the Democrat Women's Club Association in Pikeville, 150 attendees at least. It is election year, so we'll have a great turnout. So our hotels are already booking down all county-wide for those 2 events. Once again, Hatfield and McCoy Heritage Days, 24th, 25th, 26th of September, and also, of course, the Kentucky Democrat Women's Club Association's conference is that same weekend. Last but not least, I want to leave you with a thought. We were very blessed in November to have the National Geographic on our properties. Diggers, I don't know how many of you seen the episode of Diggers in 2012, but it helped put us back on the market to be able to market worldwide. As you know, we never say Hatfields without saying McCoy, and we never say McCoy without saying Hatfield in marketing. So on August the 10th, August the 10th at 10:30 p.m., National Geographic will preview the episode of Diggers that was filmed in November. We have seen a couple clips of it, and it is going to be absolutely wonderful. And I'll also tell you how popular Hatfield and McCoy name is. In November, when the production came to Pikeville, Pike County, and him and everyone else took part in trying to make sure those people were taken care of, make sure sites were cleaned up. It was dead of winter. We had snow on the ground. We had tents. We had fire pits going. We fed them 3 meals a day for 10 days. Saying that, they came back to us and said, you know, we're going to make this a hit. With those 10 days of them being on the ground, all advertising was sold out for this preview episode of Diggers, which is August the 10th. Now, saying that, we have the graciousness from Diggers as of this morning. We will have a special preview of the Diggers show. One will be out in the county. It will be the first preview show. And we will include Artist Collaborative Theater in with those, with monologues. We will, Magistrate Varney and, of course, Magistrate Hillman Dotson will get with them and plan that. There'll be another preview on the day before the actual episode airs on National Geographic to be inside the city. So we're working on that. Now, we just got the date this week, so we're on the ground running to make sure that people are involved and bringing the Hatfield and McCoy families home for those previews. Now, Saying that, we are host. We will be bringing these people home. Part of the production, the Kentucky Tourism Department will be here. The governor's office will be here. We cannot charge for those because it is airing on national television and we can't make money off of it, but our local entities can sell refreshments and so on and so forth, and we can get sponsorships. So saying that, August the 10th is the airing at 10:30 p.m. on National Geographic. It is our goal to make sure we continue staying on the map in marketing Pike County, Kentucky, which, as we all know in this room, is one of the most beautiful places to not only live but visit. We'll be working this week with Hillman and Bobby Varney to make sure that those previews, those special previews, is noted, getting out PSAs, making sure people are aware, and coming out to our beautiful venues to take part in. Any thoughts, any questions you have that I could answer, anything I can do for you?
I'd like to say that, we really appreciate everything you've done. I'm excited about it. And, me and Lisa met with the four-wheeler club and the horse people and things over at the Phelps Courthouse this past week. And we planned to do a ride the 25th of this month to do an exploratory ride from Hatfield McCoy Park over to Burnwell, go by the baby's grave down to South Williamson there to see what kind of trails we're looking at. And also, I came by the hog trial site Saturday.
Yes.
And I seen a tour bus there, and I seen one over at the well. But, it broke my heart when I seen them sitting there looking at the building and not being able to go in and explore it. And, me and you talked about putting some furniture in the building and maybe having somebody there to display that building and talk to the people and tell them, what we've got. And, thanks to Paul Williamson
Yes.
and our group, I think electricity is probably in the building, and we have water in the building now. Don't have water. But, that's one of the things you had helped make available the last time you were here. And I think Paul has come up with a solution to try to get water and maybe build a bathroom or something there so we can stage somebody at that building to show them and let them see what we have to offer out in the county.
Yes.
And, we probably need to look at getting some furniture to put in the building.
Yes.
And if we'd only known, I know you had a lot to do, and we could maybe had somebody there at the building to show the tour people the building inside.
On each bus was a guide, and I will tell you, they kind of gave us a time frame at each location, and they did ask that we gave them the option of going inside and viewing. They said they would love to be on the front porch and taking pictures, and maybe even in the yard with the historical site. But they had 20 minutes at that location and 30 minutes at the well. They were on a very tight grit schedule. And Lisa and I have talked, and we are going to make sure that facility is open. We're going to make sure that it is furnished, and we're going to make sure, along with, I tell you, when we have a need and we reach out to this physical court, it's people like Paul Williamson's that dots those I's and crosses those T's. And I tell you, working in tourism for 15 years, I have never worked with a better group in my life to make sure that we present the best that we can. And saying that, Lisa has gotten us the information on the trail ride, and I would love to accommodate you with that and make sure that not only did we have a photographer on site, but that we had someone with a video camera. Because in the past, I'll be honest with you, Magistrate Dotson, what we've done is altogether we've not been great at making sure that we have video and photos, because, in marketing, I can tell the story, but a photo is so much more important. And we will have someone on the ground, and we will make sure there's press releases for that. Our goal is to make sure that we leave not 1 square inch of Pike County unmarketed. Because, as you know, we have the largest county in the state, but it is our obligation to make sure that people are in the know of what's going on.
Tony, let's look to try to get the August group. Let's try to have that building open and have something in there if they want to walk in and look. I've already had an obligation to pick up a piece of furniture to put in the building, so, that'll be a start. And another thing is, you know, we probably would like to seen this brochure advertise our Hatfield McCoy play, which starts, I'm thinking maybe this Saturday, Friday. Is that right, Bob? Friday or Saturday. Do you know, I've not talked to Stephanie.
Yes, they're in full rehearsals now. This past Saturday, they rehearsed, I think, about 10 hours. And Hillman, I will tell you, this rack card was created to promote Hatfield and McCoy Heritage Days at Hillbilly Days. So we didn't have all the correct identity of what was going to happen for Hatfield and McCoy Days in September, nor did we have the correct dates for either play. But Stephanie has got those to us. The brochure will outline every bit of that. Now, this was created in April before those figures and those dates were put into place accurately. But so this has been produced since April for Hillbilly Days to make sure people were aware at that festival about this festival coming up. But I do promise you, it will be fore and foremost that people know about every item of interest, whether in the county or in the city, for Hatfield and McCoy Heritage Days. And I will tell you, we are on the line daily speaking to the descendants of both families to make sure that they are here for that festival. I will tell you, this will be the best and arranged Hatfield and McCoy festival that we have ever had, because we are organizing it daily. We're in contact with the family. We are having a softball tournament. We're having a paintball tournament and many other things to go along with those. And we have asked them to please be aware of our county sites and what's going on during Hatfield and McCoy's days. Get out into the field, get out to a theater play, get out and be a part of it, because every event happening is important to us.
Tony, would it be possible for some leaflets to be handed out for the play that night, I think on the 24th, for people that might want to go over if they don't have anything going on here that night?
Yes, most definitely. There will be people on the ground promoting that in the museums. There will be people on the ground. And our goal is we're right now doing tear sheets of what size, a 4x8, to make sure that everything we know, it'll have a front and a back, and it will have everything from not only historical sites out in the county, but what is happening at Artist Collaborative Theater, what's happening over at the Hatfield McCoy Park, and all of that. We've gotten with Stephanie and gotten the monologues down. Stephanie will, during the day, have monologue actors inside the city at the festival promoting Blood Song out into the county. So we have gotten with her and absolutely built a schedule of what we can do to make sure that we promote not only a social media, but we'll be spending about $9,000 on WKYT and WYMT promoting this festival.
Tony, I'm going to ask the judge and the court to give Lisa some help, on assigning these properties that we're getting ready to develop. We've got these sites already located. We just need some deed work, and let us know if the people will let us go ahead and start doing our trails on our river. We want to get our river trail started, and Bob's wanting to get his started. And just the last few weeks, we were able to find a dozer from the money that was laid aside for our trail system.
Yes.
And it was a $12,000 purchase, and it was a real good deal coming from the government. And we're ready to start doing our river trails and our four-wheeler trails. Lisa's got some appointments in the near future to go look at some trails over in near the Virginia side in Feds Creek and Leo's area, and we want to try to just connect the whole trail up in the county and make this thing available for people who wants to come in and use it. But I think we probably would need a little more time on getting this building ready for. You said it's August the 11th.
August the 5th, 6th, and 7th.
5th, 6th.
And even if it, possibly it's got electricity, if at that point it don't have water, we can still go inside and get some furnishings. There's several items that we have acquired here recently that would fit right into that. And then, of course, we have a glass showcase that since there's electricity, it's a glass lighted showcase that we could put in that cabin that would have some of the artifacts from diggers in it. Because, of course, everything we want to do with a historical site containing to Hatfield and McCoy is to appropriately market but also display it.
I'm sure if you'll just let Paul know, he'll send somebody to pick up that furnishings and get it in there. He's always been there when we needed him, and if you've got some things available, I'm sure he can have it put in there.
Yes, and another thing that we've discussed with Lisa, now that gas prices are down considerably to what they were in 2005 and 2008, we are seeing more SUVs. More SUVs means more people in that, means more of an age group, a difference in an age group. You'll see a grandmother traveling with two grandboys who, and a daughter-in-law and a son-in-law and her husband. That's different age groups, and they are looking for things to do for all sorts of age groups. So when you're talking about being on the water or ATV trail or horseback, that is right up that age group's alley, and they are looking for those items of interest for activities. Working on those projects is one of the very important because it outlines every age group that we're looking to present ourselves to.
Well, Lisa's applied for a grant for our Hatfield McCoy for some hookups for some campers and things like that. We've got property available there. And if that grant comes through, we've got water and sewer already there. It will be a short-term thing for us to get to where we can advertise, get people come in, and it'll create a job or so, for somebody to look over these things. And that's what we've got to do to get tourism in. We've got to start a little bit and got to start walking, and then we can start running.
Exactly. Well, you got the right person on the ground applying for those grants and making sure. And she keeps contact. We speak 3 times a week, and we know right to the point of what is needed. And anytime we can help develop a marketing or a brochure, or any type of material, we are there for that. And Jay Shepard, of course, is amazing when it comes to having an eye detail. And of course, we are always right there for you if anything, whether it's a meeting or a marketing material.
I thank you, Tony, and I'm going to let one of the play people talk to you now. I don't know if he's there. We'll answer who he is this year.
All right.
Now, Tony, I just want to say how much I appreciate the work that you do, and I really want to thank you for being that hard worker that you are, and I don't think anybody in this county can outwork you, but you've done some great things for us, and just keep it up. I know it gets discouraging at times, but you're doing a great job, and I really appreciate everything that you are doing.
Well, I appreciate that, Magistrate Varney, but I'll tell you, I appreciate that very much. A pat on the back is a good feeling, but there is never an I in this team. I have the greatest office staff. I have the greatest board, and I'm just a blessed boy to be able to raise his parents and to be able to call Pike County my home and market it. So,
And I want to thank you too.
thank you. I appreciate it. If I could ever do anything for you, I'm a shout away.
Paul might want to give us a little update there, Judge, while what he's been doing over at that building.
Yeah, what we've got lights in the building, and Lisa's applying for a grant for water in the building. That's just for a little sink maybe in the building or something. We haven't started nothing on no bathrooms or nothing like that, but one thing at a time, it all come together. So.
Well, you're saying that it's going to take a lot of money to get some water put in there?
The water ain't going to take a whole lot to get in the building, but what we discussed a while back on bathrooms and stuff, that's where we're going to come in a little money at right there, outside the bathrooms. But it's not going to cost a whole lot for water.
And Judge, also, we need to thank our jailer and Jimmy Dale for cleaning up our community during the past few weeks, getting the litter picked up out of the ditches, and thank Jimmy Dale. We appreciate Pride and appreciate you.
All right. Approval of order adopting new policy and procedure for Pike County and who? Anita Rose.
My name is Bonita Rose. I'm an officer of the Pike County Humane Society. We're the group who built the Pike County Animal Shelter and gave it to the county. And so you can understand my interest in the animal shelter and county animal control. I'm also a member of Pike County's advisory board to the shelter. And the advisory board has come up with a policy and procedures manual with John Doug Hayes' help. We've worked a long time on this. Right now, there's no written guide for running the shelter and animal control. And of course, you know that any regulatory agency must have a policy and procedures manual. It equips the director and the employees and the public with the means to ensure compliance with all the relevant rules and regulations relating to animal control in the county. It provides the shelter with a consistent guide that up to this point has not existed. So the policy conveys the mission, the philosophy, the goals of the Pike County Animal Control. And the procedures specify the activities that reflect that policy, delineating the steps for properly carrying them out, from sanitary cleaning of the facility to accepting animals and dealing with rescue groups. So I don't see any reason why the fiscal court would be opposed to adopting a policy and procedures manual, and I'm just here to answer any questions or doubts about it.
Judge, if I may, the next item on our agenda is approval of an order adopting this new policy and procedures for Pike County Animal Shelter and Animal Control, and a copy of that is in the packet of each of the magistrates and your packet, Judge. That is 29 pages long, and we've shortened it considerably over the number of drafts that we have. Let me say just a little bit, Judge, though, about the Pike County Animal Shelter and Control Advisory Committee. That is an ad hoc committee that was put together trying to represent the public generally and those people who had an interest in animal welfare and control in Pike County. I couldn't name all the members, perhaps Benita could, but I know Benita is a member and representing the Pike County Humane Society. We have a member representing the Appalachian Society for Prevention to Cruelty to Animals. I think I got that right, ASPCA. A member representing Diamonds in the Rough. Our own treasurer is a member of that, Judge. Jeff Vanderbeck, publisher of the local paper, is a member. Who have I left? Oh, the animal shelter director is a member. The animal control officer, Jason Burke, is a member. Have I left out anybody?
Joey Collins, the veterinarian representing the vets.
Joey Collins has been an active member. And they have
Pam
met.
Osborne.
I'm sorry?
Pam Osborne.
Okay.
Pam Osborne's on there.
Pam Osborne.
Deanna Hurley.
Deanna Hurley, okay.
Somebody from the health department. Somebody from the city of Pikeville.
Okay.
Somebody from Coal Run. So there's like 10 or 12.
Okay. And they have met, and it was the desire of Bonita and the Pike County Animal Shelter early on, back when I had the position that Judge Morris has, to have a policy and procedures manual in place. We didn't reinvent the wheel on this one either. We actually took Boone County's policies and procedure manual, and what you have in your packet represents the third draft. We considerably shortened, believe it or not, the Boone County version, adapted it to Pike County. I believe it to be a good policies and procedures, and by the way, it does not replace the code, the Pike County Administrative Code, or any part thereof. As a matter of fact, it specifically provides in the policy and procedures manual that the code always takes precedent, and in the event there is a difference, the code will prevail. It just will give the shelter director and the employees at the animal shelter specific guidance in writing. This provides that each employee will receive the policy, they'll be familiar with the policy, and everybody will be on the same page. And Judge, having worked a long time on this with Benita's help and with Jonda's help and the input from this committee, I believe that this court ought to adopt this by order for the Pike County Animal Shelter and the animal control officers. That would require a motion, a second, and a majority vote, Judge.
I need a motion.
Judge, I'd like to, if it be possible, I know they're really concerned about the animals and they're doing a good job. I'd like to be able to make a motion to turn it over to the Humane Society and let them run it. And you know, we would be a whole lot better having people like her knowing how to run the shelter than we are. And, you know, if they would take it and run it, then, you know, I would gladly entertain that motion if they would just take the animal shelter and run it, and we fund it and help take care of it.
We're not in a position to do anything like that at this point. Right now, the Pike County Humane Society is exclusively concentrating on helping low-income Pike County residents spay and neuter their pets. That's what we do with 100% of our donations. None of us are paid. I'm the one who administers that program because the only way we're going to make the animal shelter be like what many people want it to be, a no-kill shelter, is to reduce the number of animals who come into the shelter. So that's the ultimate answer, 100% across the board spay and neuter, and that's what we concentrate on now. But we're in no position to take over running the shelter.
What are you saying now? You pay for the 100% if somebody brings an animal in,
At
have
one
it sprayed and
point,
neutered?
for about 18 months, we were paying 100% of the cost of the surgeries. And over the years, I don't have the numbers now, but we've spayed and neutered tens of thousands of animals in Pike County. And we still have an overpopulation problem. That just lets you know how serious, how big this problem is. Now we don't have the funds for that. We had to suspend our program for about 6 months and reassess what we had, but right now we're actively paying half the cost of what it costs to spay and neuter, or what it cost us to spay and neuter an animal at Joey Collins' business. He's the veterinarian who works with us on this.
So what's the people do? Make an appointment with Joey?
Oh,
Have an animal they need
no,
take care of?
What they do is they send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to the Pike County Humane Society, Post Office Box 2245, Pikeville, Kentucky 41502. Give me the names of your animals. I'll only give you a voucher for 2. If you've got more, you've got to wait a couple of months till I forget your name. And I will send you a voucher with your name on it, the pet's name on it. You fill out the rest. You call Joey Collins' office. All the information on the voucher is available. All the information you need is on that voucher. You call his office and make your appointment. Have the voucher with you when you come with the animal. And we pay half the cost of that surgery.
So how much would it cost a person to have an animal sprayed?
For a female dog, it's $45. For a male dog, it's $40. For a female cat, it's $35, and for a male cat, it's $25. That's half of what Joey Collins charges us for it.
You're paying half, and I think Brian Morris is paying the other half, ain't you, Brian? I hear on the radio every now and then you're sponsoring some kind of a thing to have these animals taken care of.
Yes, I've had private sponsors. Yes.
But honey, you know, we've dealt with this problem back years and years ago, and I know y'all do a good job, and I think you could better run the shelter than anybody I know of, and you know, I'd like for you to take that up with your people in your next board meeting and see if they'd be interested in running this animal shelter.
Well, I'll pass that message on.
And I'll rescind my motion until we hear from her, John.
Thank you. I think that's proper in light of her response. I also would like to suggest that you take up with your board the sale of that little piece of property, and you and I have discussed that, and we need that down there when we have
We'd
large
love to
animals.
sell it to you.
I'm sorry?
We would love to sell that piece of property to you, and the money that we get for that sale, we put back into our spay and neuter program to help cut down on the number of animals that end up at the shelter.
Well, but we have to have it sold cheaply.
Well, make us an offer.
Don't donate it because we're running your shelter.
We've already donated over $1 million to the county to help with animal control, and we're kind of out of money right now. But we do want to keep up with the spay and neuter program. That's essential. So if anybody wants to give us a donation to help us with it, we're here.
It's a small area, and I don't want to get into it a whole lot. There was some maybe misunderstanding, miscommunication. We had had just one of these temporary pens set up and had a pony in there, and we had to move it, and we don't really have any room. For example, if we take a horse, unless we can find somebody with a barn that will take that in for us, we can't set up anything around the animal shelter. We don't have any room, and we need it. If y'all could come to some kind of reasonable term, we'd be interested in looking at it. I can't speak for the court.
We're very interested in selling it to you because I know that the animal shelter needs that property. I'd like to see it go to the county.
Well, for example, we had the temporary corral set up on it with a pony in it, and we had to move the corral. We didn't have any place.
Who owns the property?
Humane Society.
Look me like y'all give it to us if we're going to be able to corral. I mean, it's going to help animals.
We've given the county a whole lot of stuff.
We give y'all a lot too, honey.
Well, anyway, we want to keep our spay and neuter program going. That's essential because it helps. It's the best thing that we can do for Pike County. We're not doing it for ourselves. We're doing it for all of Pike County, and we need to keep that alive. That's essential.
It looked like if y'all give us the land and we'd build a corral there, then we both would do good. And the animals, I know they'd like it.
Well, I think you need to talk to me privately about this a little bit more. I don't think you understand what's going on. We don't run the shelter. You run the shelter.
We'd like to let you run it.
I know you would. I know it's a burden, but it's something that local government is responsible for, county animal control.
John, I'd like to make a motion that we table this ordinance until we've had a little more time to study it and look at it, and then take it up at our next meeting.
That's fine.
Did you make a motion? I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
Bonita, what the court has decided, they haven't had a chance to really to study this, and we'll take it up at the next meeting.
Okay,
They'll
and
have
I would
that.
like to suggest before you do vote on this, if you have any questions or doubts about it or the importance of this, I would like you to talk to me about it so I can explain to you why it's such a necessary part of county animal control. And thank you for your time.
Did you say this is something that we need to take up private? Is it something we need to?
Yes, as you were
Is
talking.
it something we need to go in executive session on at our next meeting?
No. I was talking about, you were talking about us giving you that property.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to explain to you why I don't want to give it, why we can't give the property to you, because we need that money to continue our spay-neuter program.
Well, you know, we just ain't got no money, you know, to purchase it. But you know, I think the court could maybe build a little corral there or something to help you and everybody else out. But see what you can do with it and bring it back to us.
Well, like I said, I'll present this to the board, what your suggestion is. But what I'm here for today is about the county adopting a policy and procedures manual for the running of the animal shelter. That's essential.
Yeah, we'll look at it and
Because and I'm sure you have policy and procedures, how you run the fiscal court meetings. And that's all we're asking for. The advisory board is asking for the running of the shelter and animal control. It's something that should have been in existence many years ago, but we need to have something on paper about how things are done properly. Thank you.
We'll work on that. We'll work on
the reason I was wanting to table this, honey, we need to look at the big animal situation that John was talking about. I'm sure you got that in this policy.
No, there's nothing in there
We
about
need to
it.
put something in there because we got big animals running around hitting cars and everything.
Well, I think you're talking about a separate issue. What?
We got nowhere to house them when they pick them up.
No, I think what the policy and procedures manual is about is just about how things are done at the shelter. So employees understand that they're doing something correctly, like even the proper way to clean a kennel. Now, when you're talking about the big animals, then you're talking about more responsibility for the shelter. And it's kind of like a separate, there's many different facets to animal control, and you're talking about something, a separate issue.
Seems like that's getting to be a big problem, though, is the big animals.
Oh, it is. It's a huge problem. It is. But that isn't directly addressed in this policy and procedures. Now, the policy and procedures is something that can always be adapted to a situation. It's not written in stone. And I'm sure it will be, the way it's written in a way that it can be added to and changed as needed. But I'm just talking about for what's needed today, this moment. Thank you.
Thank you.
acknowledgement of a receipt of the Pike County Public Library District audit for June the 30th, 2014.
Motion to acknowledge.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson. Yes. Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson.
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes.
Judge, there was supposed to have been somebody here at the meeting here a few weeks ago about our library. I think, John, didn't you ask one of them to, John Duck, didn't we ask some of them to come by and talk to us about the library, and we've not seen anybody about the procedures on the one that Phelps been,
As I recall, this court wanted someone to come in from the library board and speak with us, and I don't know where it went after that. I'm sorry, I can't answer the question.
Thank you.
Next, approval of the Interstate Emergency Management Fund Mutual Aid and Assistance Agreement between Pike County and Mingo County, West Virginia.
My business. Just read.
Motion.
You care to talk, Doug, about that a little bit?
Judge, I guess that would probably be me and Bobby's concerns over in Williamson and Mingo County. Is that what it was, Brian?
Yeah, Mingo County.
Probably on the fire departments and emergency aid. Is that what it was?
Well, Doug can kind of touch on that, I think.
It allows us to seek mutual aid or give mutual aid back and forth across state lines as needed, whatever type of incident it may be.
Doug, did we already have it? What's this, just an update?
No, we've never had a mutual aid agreement across state lines before, just in-state. This is to do it with Mingo County, West Virginia.
I know they always come and we go, and I didn't know. What you're wanting now is just a legal agreement?
Yes, just a legal agreement.
And I think, Doug, from my, excuse me, Master Dodson, I think from my conversation with you, one reason that we need a formal agreement is for insurance purposes.
That's correct, yes.
And there is no financial commitment here. I've read it, and it passes the legal muster, and I would urge the court to adopt it.
Motion.
Where'd you get the basis for all this, Doug? Was there a form or something that you used?
From Campbell County, Kentucky.
Okay, and that was with another state, right?
Yes, it was.
I have a motion, need a second.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson.
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes. First reading of proposed ordinance amending section 110 of the occupational license fee tax to clarify the meaning of Internal Revenue Code.
Judge, yeah, let me explain what this is about. The procedure in adopting the occupational tax became a bit rushed at the end, and had a message from a coal company executive requesting this amendment as an accounting measure. Section 1, subsection 10, Judge, referred to the Internal Revenue Code, the definition of that as the code in effect on December the 31st, 2003. As you are aware, and this court is aware, the code changes like the seasons of the year sometimes, both the code and the regulations. And so the modern version of that would be to strike out the year 2003, as you see in your packet, and put the following language in of the year in which the tax is due. So it would be the current version of the Internal Revenue Code. That same change is made with regard to the date December 31st, 2004. 2004 would be stricken and be of the year in which the tax is due. So the ordinance would read as follows. Internal Revenue Code means the Internal Revenue Code in effect on December 31st of the year in which the tax is due, exclusive of any amendments made subsequent to that date, other than amendments that extend provisions in effect on December 31st of the year in which the tax is due that otherwise would terminate. This just eliminates a whole lot of headaches for the accountants who have to compute these taxes, and I would recommend that is the first reading of that. It'll be advertised, and we'll have the second reading at the next court meeting.
Judge, John, now this money, what you're saying, it will not be deducted out of the pay until the 31st. Will it be all one?
No, it just, in our ordinance, there's a series of definitions, and the way the tax is computed is based upon the Internal Revenue Code. And all this amendment does, Magistrate Dodson, is say it's based upon the most recent version of the code. And that was, as I say, a request of accountants and company executives. They wanted that change, and we ought to have that change. No, you don't need a vote on that. It's first reading.
Approval of appointment of Mountain Water District Board. I need a motion to appoint Johnny Tackett to the Mountain Water District Board. Need a motion.
Judge, that is your appointment by code, and the court, all it needs to do is approve your appointment. So the motion would be to approve the appointment of Johnny Tackett to the Mountain Water Board. And Jeannie Robinson, as I understand it, he would be replacing Prentice Adkins as of July the 31st.
Need a motion in a second.
I think what John said, Judge, was all we do is approve it. You make the recommendations. So you don't need a motion to do it. Is that right, John?
He needs to recommend, and the court does need to vote to approve his recommendation. That's right.
I make the recommendation. Need a motion.
Motion to approve the
I
recommendation.
make a motion that we approve the recommendation.
Need a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
No.
Magistrate Murphy.
No.
Magistrate Robinson.
No.
Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney.
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes. Magistrate's road work.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes. Magistrate's comments.
Judge, I have no comments this time.
Chick? Leo?
Judge, just want everybody that's involved to keep working on that Upper Pompey project, because it is a dangerous situation.
We need another executive session for personnel.
I've got a petition here to get a road put in the county road program. This makes twice I've turned it in. Something happened to the other one.
We'll get it started. Give
Want
it
to
to the,
approve
get it to the clerk. No, you just have to, we need to jump through some legal hoops. We'll get it going, Kenneth.
Need a motion?
No,
No,
you
no
don't
motion.
need anything. No.
Hillman?
Yeah, I've got a few things, Judge. I want to find out where FEMA is, you know, what we're getting done, Jackie. Are we getting any observance of the roads, telling us what they're going to do?
The road foreman tells me this is the worst they've ever had dealing with FEMA. They just come and look and they ain't got back with us.
I met with them prior to July 4th, and they said as soon as the 4th of July is over, they'd be in my district. We're looking, and I think they were in Jeff's district, and probably Chick's or Kenneth's one doing their roads. Are y'all seeing them over there? Anybody?
I haven't seen not this Ralph has.
I don't know what they're, you know, we talked to them in Frankfurt, and they sent somebody here to check, see what the problem was, and they were supposed to got on it, and, you know, we're dragging around and not getting any work or
Yeah,
getting anything.
excuse me and you talked to, he said he was a head man and he would be here the next week, didn't he?
Well, they did. They came and met with me at Phelps, and they said after 4th of July, we will be in here to start working on writing the POs and getting everything.
He didn't call me though or nothing, so I didn't know he'd been here.
Well, they came over and met at the courthouse and updated me, and I've got their names who came. And I guess they're working with Frankie. Is he on vacation?
Yes.
And, you know, maybe Frankie might have something he can tell us about them. But as of now, I don't know if they've ever wrote up the first PO or...
Yeah, they talked a good game to me and you down there, but they're not going along with it.
But, you know, we got a lot of work to do, and I guess NCRS are they Richard or Mike there?
Okay, what I'm going to be talking about is the April flooding, the ones that we already had the declaration on. I talked to the NRCS this morning, and he was trying to get up with your road foreman, but I'll call him after this. But he said that they will be in here at the first of next week to look at the damage that we got last week. And I've told Jackie Darrell, we've talked about it, and he'll get with the road foreman. But while we've been here, I got emails on 2 projects. They've sent me a project on Blackburn Bottom and Hamilton Branch. Is Blackburn in yours, Leah? Both of them? Okay, so I'll get with you after this, and I've got 2, but that's on the April flooding.
Another thing, our flex money, John, are we aware that we can go ahead and start using that?
Yes, we got the contract back.
So we can go ahead and start doing our money, our work, get our reimbursement for it.
We got it back signed, didn't we, Jeannie?
The flex.
Which amount was that, Jonah?
Yes.
That was
That's
for,
for the
that was
14.
13, 14?
That's 14-15.
14, 15, yeah.
Well, the old money,
They're still open 13-14 maybe. I'd have to go back and see what's been completed.
13-14 money's there, done been,
Some people's already used their 13-14. I don't know. I'd have to go back and check off who all used what. But 14-15's available now.
so it's all
And
been,
has Jackie Darrell, have y'all turned in roads to get 15-16 started?
Yeah, some of the magistrates or the road foremen just turned in the 15-16 deal, but some of them you still like getting that in. And an update on that, when I was talking to the guy down to Frankfurt, instead of $47,000 some odd dollars, I'd assume because of the gas tax, we now get $60-some thousand dollars.
All right.
So those that turned it in, we need to go back and update a little bit, put more money on the roads that they want to get done. So we need to get that in as soon as we can. I talked to Joe Stanley last week on that, and he was encouraging I could get off the foreman to get that done, and because it's up to $60,000.
while you're on there, tell us about Pawpaw. What have you got going with the coal companies?
Well, they came and met with us last week, and the TICO crew was going to hire Mountain Enterprise themselves and come up there and start some work up there. And anyway, Mountain Enterprise had some problems. I assume they got a good excuse, the rain. Been having a lot of rain. You can't get good asphalt work done and water on the road. So they delayed it, I think, to the 27th to the 29th. They're going to probably close most of that road down, going up to the foot of the mountain, a mile of road. And they wanted us to furnish the flagmans for it, but they want to hire Mountain Enterprise, TICO is, and take care of that road there, start the intersection back to the mountain.
What about the other part?
That other group, I was talking to them a little bit for a while, but the last week and a half, I can't get up with Apex. They on vacation. I keep trying to call them and can't get a hold of nobody. And I thought they was the first ones going to get out there and do something the way they was talking, and but they're gone. Hopefully they'll be back. I need to get up with them. Would they been a?
I'm getting calls out of Pawpaw, and I tell the people we've not forgot them. You know, it's in the works, and they're getting discouraged and wanting to know, and that's the reason I wanted to find out so we can tell them. But I think we need to work with Apex and Virginia too. You know, Virginia's got some obligation there they need to get done.
I've talked to Virginia, the magistrate up there. Then he put me on their system's a little different. Their magistrates, the state takes care of all the roads, and he put me on that guy. And the Virginia bunch has let the contract out for their section and hard top hit, but the obligation of the contractor was from that date on, a month ago, I guess, up till December. But I told them a good time would have done that would have been this last week when they was on vacation, but I don't know if they could push the contractor when to do it, but it's in the ball game, and they give the contract out for it. Virginia has on their part.
And Judge, you know, I just want to let the people know our men are pothole patching every day they can. We've had 33 days out of 50 days of rain, and what the news said yesterday. And it's hard to get out there and pothole patch when it's raining every day, but the men are doing every bit that they can, and we've had a lot of pop-up flash floods in the last few weeks since the last court meeting, and they're out there in the evening and night trying to keep the roads opened up. A lot of people out of electricity over my way, and I guess it's the way the whole county's been doing. But we're doing all we can do with it, and just want to let the people know that. And I hear there's a lot of jaw-jacking about the wasteful spending of this court. The 5 magistrates, I guess they call us the Fantastic Five or whatever. We wasted all their money, and you know, I'd like to see the court do an audit and show what wasteful spending we've done. And these people that's got this money, they need to be audited too for some things. They've got several millions of dollars worth of coal severance money. I'd like to see where that money went to. And, you know, if they want to throw rocks, they better not live in a glass house. And I don't think this court has wasted any any coal severance money. If building a park or a recreational facility for our senior citizens is wasting money, then we're guilty. But, you know, I get tired. I don't know what the answer is. Every time you run into somebody, they say, well, they've talked about you in the newspapers, they're just wasting their money. And, you know, these people that's writing this stuff has had a whole lot of money too to use out in the county, and I don't know where it went. I'd like to see it, and if it's possible, John Doug, can we have the auditor come in and audit this wasteful spending? We're going through an audit right now, I guess, John Doug.
Yes, we're
But
finishing
this
up on.
wasteful spending that they're putting in the newspaper, they need to identify these areas and let us address it. But, you know, if it's possible, I'd like to see us do an audit on our coal severance money, see where it's at, and see who's to blame for it. What do we need to do on it? Contact Adam Edelman, or?
You can contact the auditor, Adam Edlin, but the problem is they usually want us to pay for those audits.
Yeah.
And,
well, you know,
and we don't have the money.
That's true too, but, you know, we need to, if it's been some money wasted out there by these 5 magistrates, you know, we're getting all the blame for it. And Bill, they're not blaming you or Bobby, which y'all wasn't here. But, you know, I just get tired of hearing it everywhere you go. There's an article in there that we're wasting their money. We've wasted their money. And we need to clear up some of this stuff. Maybe, John, you can contact Adam Edlin and see, you know, what it would cost to do a survey. I know we done open records when Chris Harris was here, and we found out a lot of wasteful spending.
How many years back would you want that audit to go?
Well, you know, probably, John, the way you say, at least 10, 12.
Is however long you want?
Yeah. Because we've had a lot of money spent on things that this court had no approval of. You know, it was a pass-through approved by the people that appropriated the money, and we didn't have any approval of it. But there's monies I know that's been appropriated, and if they want to find out where the wasteful spending is, just get down and find out where it's at.
I'll contact Mr. Edlin, and I'll suggest a 10-year audit on the coal severance tax revenues allocated to Pike County.
Thank you, John. And Judge, we got this ride coming up Saturday on our 4-wheel trails. It's going to be like just to see what our trails are like. I'd like to invite everybody, all the magistrates, and going to be at Hatfield McCoy Park, and starting at 10 in the morning. And if anybody wants to come, just bring their 4-wheelers, and it's nothing sanctioned or authorized by the court. It's just our 4-wheeler group is putting this together. So got that done. And
On that audit, it doesn't only pertain to the Pike County Fiscal Court, because the legislators line item it to other entities also that does not go through us. That only thing we did was prioritize, but you've got, you know, the school board, the city of, I don't know if city of Pikeville's county, Co-Run, Elkhorn, you know, all those other entities
In Pike County.
passed by us in getting their money if they did. So how do you want the scope on everything?
And you had hope and help and all
Those
these
come
other
through us.
Come through us, but we had no control of it.
Right.
Fire departments. A number of fire departments
Yeah,
receive
fire
those
department.
line item appropriations that this court just prioritized.
But what I'm trying to see is, do we want to do the whole scope of the coal severance, or just what affected Pike County Fiscal Court?
Well, John, you know, I want to do it all. You know, I'd like to see where it all went to, because we're getting blamed for it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Other entities got money. That only thing we did was prioritize, but they could make application and as to what their
Right.
criteria and their scopes of work and their budgets that they presented did not come through us. Those went to Frankfurt that we had no control over, other than what came through us. So that's why I was trying to see how broad you wanted the,
Scope of work was sent to DLG and places like that, wasn't it?
right, from other entities besides us.
Like Coal Run built sidewalks.
Correct.
Elkhorn City probably, swimming pool one time maybe. I mean, that kind of, that's what she's saying, their project.
Yeah.
Well, I think it needs to do it all.
Okay. That's what I'm
What you
trying to
guys
see.
think? Are y'all wanting to see?
I'd just like to get a cost, make sure, it's something that's,
See how much it costs.
yeah, make sure it's not cost prohibitive.
I'll report back to the court next meeting on that. 10 years, a full scope audit that we're talking about, I'm sure would be fairly expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know the cost first.
Absolutely.
And,
A
Judge,
lot of times when you stir and that kind of stuff, worse it stinks too.
Yeah.
well, it's stinking pretty bad right now. We need to stir it or put some perfume on it, one of the two.
We'll go to treasurer's business next.
DLG won't close a project until they come out and look at it and have.
That's what I'm saying, Jeannie. We got nothing to hide, but these people are acting like we wasted their money. Well, we didn't. I mean, the projects that we've built is been things that's been well needed. And, some things they done, I don't know whether it's going to be up to par or not, but we need to check in on it. And Judge, that play for Hatfield McCoy, it starts this Friday, I think.
Or Saturday,
one. Over at, I'm going to try to get some information from Stephanie over at Hatfield McCoy Park. And another thing, I know our county's in bad shape, but have you talked to Tucker Daniels or anybody from the Johnson County area and see if there's anything we can do to help? It's our neighboring county, and they've lost a lot of lives and homes, and I don't know if it's anything that we can put together or not, but one time we put together a little thing, went down and helped them out.
I asked Judge Daniels if there was any way that he needed any help now. He said everything was okay, and if he needed help, he'd call.
Good.
The biggest thing that if you don't care if I interject, he's a close personal friend of the family, and he called me on Sunday. He's having issues with how to get cleanup done along that State 172, and he's trying to get it resolved with the state and with DLG to see if there's something they can do to help him, because he doesn't have the resources of road and solid waste. So he's trying to get an answer to that, because he called to ask me if we'd used state workers or state had cleaned up any for us, and I said, no, it's always been us doing our own debris removal. So that's his issue right now, trying to get debris removal along that 7 or 8 mile stretch of 172, because you can't go on private property and things like that, and he's trying to get a resolution to the cleanup on it right now.
The thing that they mentioned in church Sunday night that they were needing a whole lot of is rubber boots, socks, and buckets. That's one of the things they said they needed bad.
John, I just wanted to say in closing that I had some calls that people are bragging on you. I don't know whether to tell you about it or not, but said it looked like you had control of the finances, and they spoke highly of you. Thought you were doing a good job, and I just wanted to pass that on to you. I know you don't hear that a whole lot.
Thank you, Hillman, I appreciate that.
Bobby?
Okay, Judge, just a few comments. This recent flooding that we had last week, I was in Myrtle Beach on vacation, and Turkey Creek about washed off. It looks like a war zone over there. I think you came over and looked at some of it. But I want to commend my road foreman and our road crew over there. They worked 12, 14 hours a day, whatever it took, and they done a great job, and they got on top of everything. I just caution the people over there to be a little patient with me. If we ain't got every little rock turned over or little mud place cleaned up for you, we're getting to it. We had to start with the biggest and then work our way down. Like at Turkey Creek, we had to start at the mouth of the holler. Usually we don't do that. We start at the head of the holler. We couldn't get to the head of the holler, you know, so we had to start at the mouth of the holler to clean it going up. So we are working on that, and my road crew, they're the best. I tell you what, I can't commend them enough. My prayers do go out to the families who lost homes and family members and everything they had in Johnson County. Even though we did get hit hard at Turkey Creek, it was nothing like what happened down there at Johnson County. And people losing everything they had, even their lives. And the family of Rio Johns, I do want to remember Mr. Johns was superintendent, and I served on the Board of Education under him for a few years, and I always had respect for him. We never did see eye to eye on a lot of things. We were on the different sides, but nonetheless, I still had the respect for him, and he'll be sadly missed. While I was on vacation, the one thing that I kept noticing, and my wife kept punching me and telling me to leave it alone, was the littering along the way to Myrtle Beach even. You know, there was a couple of spots I found some littering. And she told me, I said, I guarantee it's somebody from Pike or Floyd County that's went through here. You know, but anyhow, I got back home. It was good to get back home, but all the flooding and then the littering that was in that creek from that flooding and stuff, it just, you know, I knew I was home, I guess, Jackie Darrell. It's my home. I'll take care of it. I'm going to work on it, and I'm going to keep complaining about it, Jimmy Dale. One of these days we might clean something up, and it stay clean, you know. Jimmy Dale and them is doing a great job of what they do, and the inmates on what they do, they really do. But we got to go right back over them places again and again and again and again, you know. But I'm not giving up on it, you know. I'm going to still be the crusader for the litter cleanup, because I want to clean up Pike County. Tony, people won't come into Pike County to visit Hatfield, McCoy side to see garbage in the ditch line. They just won't do it. You know, they won't come back. So we're going to keep on cleaning it up. Thank you, Judge.
All right. Treasurer's business. Jonda?
Judge, while you all were in executive session, I went up to finish my agenda and get my things copied. And while I was up there, I took a stab in the dark of calling Department for Local Government and spoke with Amy Barnes to see if they had the calculations for our coal and mineral severance for the first quarter of the fiscal year, which is for April, May, and June. Got bad news to report to us, which we knew it was going to be that way. The first piece of paper I reached out to you all is a 3-page legal size that I have tracked coal and minerals since 99-2000 fiscal year. In looking at what we received, what we will receive, she said hopefully checks will be in the mail or received by the end of the week or first of next week. The coal severance is $675,978.99, up a little bit from the last quarter we received, but I can't even find on this spreadsheet. The closest numbers are 2000, 2001 of 781, which is nowhere close because that's 100 and some thousand short, and 2003, 2004. So we're breaking new ground with what the coal severance has been allocated to us for the first quarter this year. And if we got that amount consistently for the next 4 quarters, we would be short $300,000 from what we budgeted of $3 million. So things don't look good for coal. The second thing is the mineral severance. Last year, as you can see, we received $758,575.89 for this quarter. We are going to receive $434,213.47. You can go back to the 12-13 year correlation. There's $1,555,111.89 is all we received. And you can go back to 2002, 2003 to find a correlating quarter, and it was 2.241, which both or neither one, the one in 2002, 2003 are closer to the 2.628982 we budgeted, which was what we received last year. So things are not looking good for the first quarter of revenue so far for coal and mineral. Just to keep you all abreast. that. I hate to come with bad news, but this is one of the worst. The single county account had $208,590.93 deposited into it, up about $9,000 and some odd dollars from last quarter. There was a discrepancy there were two $100,000 that one got closed out, but it was really open, that got moved to the single, so she took $100,000 out to still fund a project that we found out about, she said. So with adding that 208, we have $1,781,880.97 in our single county account. That taking the 1.380, if that's what would be allocated to Marion's branch, there'd be about $400,000 there for someone to make application to at this point. So with that said, does anybody have any questions? And
That's a good shot.
the accounts payable run is 1.82. We will need to put off making these checks until what time we get those checks, because we're running a little short of cash in order to get the payroll paid next week and look at health and life insurance payments, because we haven't done those for July because of the late enrollment, and probably will have July and August go out at once, which will be about $550,000 for health insurance. So with that being said, when we do approve the expenditure approval list, it'll be delayed until we receive these checks and get everything organized on what our money situation looks like. Authorize any necessary transfers and interfund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Barney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
Authorize the payment of the expenditure approval list dated July 20th, 2015, and any other utility and telephone bills that are received before the checks are run. And also, I forgot to have the Finance Department change the allotment amount for the senior citizens to $50,000 per month from the $41,666.67 that was allocated in the prior years. If we're increasing it by the $100,000, it would go to $50,000 per month. So I need to make that change on the expenditure approval list.
Roll call, please.
Need a motion to do
Yes.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
In January, the clerk and the sheriff presents us their budgets, and we do a general term order. The auditors have suggested to me, since we are a special county of over 70,000 population, even though we're not, we've been grandfathered in order to keep track of how the sheriff and clerk revenues and expenditures are going, that we need to request that they present to the court on the second court meeting of the month their 2550 reports, so we can monitor their spending for what we have approved in their budgets from January of 2015. So we don't get, when the audits come out, we don't see then there's a deficit or something, that we can monitor what they're doing with the money and how it's coming in or not.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson? Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
Authorize Jimmy Kaiser to attend the 2015 CAM Annual Conference at the Lake Cumberland State Resort Park, August 25th through the 27th, 2015, and authorize to pay any fees necessary to attend and his lodging. I think Jimmy gets a free registration this year because he was the mitigation manager of the year last year, so he gets a free registration, but there may be a membership fee plus his lodging we'll have to pay for.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
Priority one, which is Zella Pearson, is having a meeting next Monday from 8 to 4:30 at the Jenny Wiley State Park for parliamentary procedure training. So John Doug has registered to go, and if anybody else is wanting to go, if you register, you have to go because she does not refund her expenses. So if there's anybody else who wishes to go, it's $125 for the day. But for right now, I have John Doug registered, and if anybody else wants to go.
Yes, I'd like to go to that, John.
Okay. Anybody
Motion.
else want to go? 7 hours of training.
Do you need a motion?
Yes.
Motion.
Second. Roll call, please.
Let's just go ahead and authorize it if anybody else decides to go by Monday, that I can get them registered and pay the fee, since it is at Jenny Wiley State Park Lodge and 7 hours of training hours.
Parliamentary stuff is all it is.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson,
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy,
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson,
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney,
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes.
Authorize registration fees of $175 before August 20th, and they're $200 after that point, and lodging for those who wish to attend the 40th Anniversary Governor's Local Issues Conference, August 26th through the 28th at the God House, Louisville, Kentucky.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy.
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson.
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson.
Yes.
Magistrate Varney,
Yes.
Judge Deskins.
Yes.
I sent Frankie a text while we were talking about the PWs and Hillman. I sent Frankie a text and said, what's the status on PWs on roads with FEMA? And he sent me back, said they're getting ready to start site inspections next week. None written yet. So there's your update on the
Thank you.
FEMA projects.
Thank you.
It's rigging that man's bragging on you.
Okay, authorize the following checks in the amounts of, to the Fiscal Soft Corporation. This is the program I use for my treasurer's books. They have a fiscal tax version. The reason this amount's big is we're buying the version, plus we're getting a 15 user on the server because the finance office is going to update and convert over hopefully by the 1st of January, but Frankie wants to try and run it simultaneously with the current program for a few months, and it's $16,845 for a 15 user on the server, which means where we have road department, maintenance garage, public works, the jail, senior citizen, social services, personnel. 15 people at one time can be on this, so that is why the amount of the cost is a little escalated, because we're trying to accommodate everybody who may be on it at one time. So the initial cost to get the 15 server and fiscal tax is $16,845.
Now, what will it be after that, John? I mean,
Be about $3,000 and something a year, I
so
think.
this is the initial startup.
Because my fiscal books, and I don't utilize it to the point that I should, because as Howard with Fiscal Soft calls me, I'm a glorified key punch operator. So before, there had always been statements, according to the old law, the law is on the book still, it says there has to be 2 separate sets of accounts payable records for the judge and for the treasurer. DLG and the state auditor's office have come to an agreement that that is a dated requirement, and by getting us converted over to me and Frankie are both on the same, and getting internal controls that we would have, I would key in the revenues, he would still do the expenditure, he would have the payroll, and we'll get all this going and get it bundled. I pay $6,000 or $7,000 plus the Fiscal Express, which sends my documents straight to Frankfurt for the quarterly reporting. Is what I pay for fiscal books. So it's not going to be that much to do the rest of the conversion, except when we get into fiscal pay and fiscal HR and a few of those others, because I already have fiscal books.
John, it seems like every year we're dealing with a change, outdated this and that. These computers seem to me like they're destroying us.
Unfortunately, this is the way of the world, though.
That's
Well,
the monster
it's not
we
my
create.
world, I'll tell you that.
Believe me, I can't get used to a smartphone neither. But authorization to pay fiscal soft in order to have fiscal tax, which will deposit into my fiscal books the revenues as Pam writes up the deposits and gets the calculations.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Barney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
Okay, Jeannie brought this up yesterday. The Pike County Public Properties Corporation, John Doug, how do we need to handle this in order to get these names revised? Because Jeannie is the only one still left on here, and we have to pay a fee of $15 to the Secretary of State to get our Pike County, Kentucky Public Properties Corporation to keep it in good standing. Do we still need that, or do we need to?
I don't think we need that anymore, Jeannie. That was for the judicial center, was it not? I don't think we need it. Actually, I haven't seen that.
See what they thought? No, not yet, I hadn't, because they're not here today. Which we've got time, we can do that next month. It has to be done by September.
All the bills have been paid that were owed on that. It was all
The
pass-through
only
money,
thing I
I know.
could think of that might be outstanding, do we still have a little bit of money in there for equipment or park benches and
Let's-
stuff?
Let's pass it till the
Okay.
next meeting, if you would.
Because if we're going to renew it, we probably need to get the names changed and updated as to who.
If we haven't closed out our accounts, we'll probably need to do that until we
Okay.
do get them closed out.
Pass over that till the next court meeting. Authorize a check to Pike TV or to add it to the expenditure approval list for the stakeholder fee of $30,000 for the fiscal year 15-16.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Barney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
We need to twofold in this one. Authorize that CAECO be the insurance bonding company for the occupational tax administrator, and to authorize the payment of the public official bond on the occupational tax administrator for $1 million. The bond amount is $2,560.27.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Barney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
Authorize a check to Collier Paving in the amount of $8,720 for Kirk Tackett Road on Indian Creek, $6,720, and Contrary Hollow, Sam Lucas, $2,000.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Barney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
And the Coca-Cola building at Mossy Bottom is being leased. It was being leased by Coca-Cola Refreshments, who has now sold out to Coca-Cola Bottling Consolidated Company in North Carolina. Well, Coca-Cola Refreshments, until the deal was finalized, kept paying us at the old rate, which should have December 1 have started being $9,315, and they continued to pay through April $12,477.50. So the new company took over on May 1, and in getting everything reconciled, because they hadn't sent us a check, we have found that Coca-Cola Refreshments has overpaid us, and we need to pay back to them out of the recaptured account $15,812.50.
Just hold it till you get the rest of it, and then we'll send it back to them.
We've got it.
Okay.
The new company has paid us up to date. They transposed a number, and they're going to send me a check for like 400 and something that they transposed two numbers, and then going back. This is all what's reconciled, and in order
Motion
to
But they're still leasing the building, right?
correct for another 10 years
Okay.
at the $9,315. They just sold their interest to another Coca-Cola Consolidated.
Gotcha. Motion.
Roll call, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy?
Yes.
Master Robinson?
Yes.
Master Dotson?
Yes.
Master Barney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
I have no further business at this time, Judge.
John, we had a invoice from David Kaplan that I thought would be on the treasurer's business. Did you ever get that up to her? I don't remember the amount. It was between $5,000 and $6,000.
Have you seen one, Jeannie? I'm not.
John Duck has it in his,
Oh,
It's for the co-counsel on that severance tax lawsuit. And could we just authorize payment of that bill up to $6,000? It's less than that.
is it Miller and Wells or is it a new?
It's Miller and Wells. David Kaplan, actually. Okay.
Motion.
Up to 6,000?
Up to 6,000.
Okay.
Motion.
Second. Roll call, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy?
Yes.
Master Robinson?
Yes.
Master Dotson?
Yes.
Master Barney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
Judge, I've got a thing I need to bring up before we move into executive session. Johnny Little will be leaving the last of this month.
Yes.
And my road foreman contacted me, and he said, you know, it is very important that we keep our CB radios in operation, because when they go get blacktop, if the radios are not working, they won't let them load their trucks. And he's wondering who was going to work on them if they need some work done. Brian, have y'all contacted the second party yet?
There's a big Sandy two-way that works on them radios up in Prestonsburg that we can send out, and I'm sure there's a local company too that we can research, and then we can discuss an executive session on maybe adding that responsibility to another employee that may have the knowledge, which I think would be the best method.
Big Sandy's good.
Big Sandy's good, yes.
Maybe we need to tell our road foremen to keep an extra radio for backup,
Yeah.
just in case
Would
one
be a
goes
bad
out.
idea.
I have no further business, Judge.
Judge, at this time, we do need an executive session. We had one to discuss litigation. I will be reporting on that in my report to the court, but we need an executive session at this time, Magistrate Varney, to discuss specific personnel issues.
John, I got a question. Before we do that, do we need to look at lunch? How long is this going to take? And, you know, it's 1 o'clock now. And,
I'll defer to my boss, the judge here.
Order a hot dog.
Whatever.
I just, you know, if we're going to be back there a long time, and then we got other business, don't we?
Yeah, break for lunch, you come back at 2.
It's up to y'all. Is this all we have? Is this executive session?
Just gonna get it over.
Whatever you guys
We're gonna
want
be
to
in there a
do.
while. We're gonna be in there a while.
I'll have a brief report.
We can eat tomorrow. We need to work one day
I
a week.
check you ain't
anyway.
very big. You don't have to eat much.
We get talked about enough anyway, Lord of mercy. Let's work a little bit.
It's up to you all. Everyone.
Hey, could I ask one question that relates to Bobby, his area where the flood happened last week over there? I went over and visited Danny Branham, and I was told they had a problem. And as I went up one holler, I think it's Francis Branch, which relates with, we'd had some problems anyway because so much water came down, but the drains up there again was another problem, it's too small. But beyond that, when it came down the road, there's a ditch there. And Danny was telling me they can't drag a ditch because the water line's about 5 inches underground.
3 inch, it was exposed now.
And it's exposed, and it's not very deep enough, you can't drag a ditch. Who makes the rules on how deep they should have those water lines?
Well, my inquiries on it, Jackie Darrell, was that the water department said that it wasn't their responsibility because they had a meter at the mouth of the holler, and that's where they're in it. That was the public ran that line up through there.
There's about 5 houses or 6 there.
Oh, 7.
How can that little three-quarter inch line handle all those houses?
That's, you know, but we found out after this washout, there's a meter up on the hill there now, so they've got to claim that one. So we're gonna work with them on that. But yeah, we haven't been able to pull a ditch up there in years for that simple reason. We broke the line the first time. It was 5 inches deep.
Yeah, I got the guy above there, they had a drain there under crib blocks, and I was telling him, the open hole runs water a lot better than a round hole. Square runs better than that, but open's best, so we got him to agree to, let's take a ditch down there and do away with that culvert deal there and them drains, and how an open drain there will work much more
We got one culvert that stopped up at the fire department's going to assist us in trying to clean it out Thursday evening. And if it does that, we'll have the water running pretty good then. Okay, Judge, at this time, I'd make a motion that we go into executive session under KRS 61.810, paragraph F, to discuss specific personnel.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dotson?
Yes.
Magistrate Barney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes. Court being recessed.
Thank you, Judge. I'm here today because I feel that there's been a lot of things that have been blown out of proportion in this courthouse. It's no secret that I was not for the occupational tax, and that's okay. A lot of people supported it, a lot of people didn't, and that's where it needs to be left. Now, there's been rumors that I want to get rid of Rosie through the courthouse. All I did was offer her a little help. She told me she was behind, so I sent one of my girls over to help her. It wasn't 40 minutes, it was all through the courthouse. Brian Morris came and visited me. He said he'd already received phone calls from at least 2 or 3 of the magistrates, want to know what my intentions were with Rosie. Now, I don't know which 2 or 3 called, but I would like for you to address me and tell me who you were. Because any questions that you've got, you can feel free to ask me. Now, I was asked to present you all with a 2550 starting next month. I have brought up the 2550s for the entire year. I gave them to John a few minutes ago.
I'll make you all copies and give them to you at the next court meeting or after this one if y'all want.
I think everybody needs to try to get along. We're all in this together. We may not always agree on everything, and that's okay. That's our rights. We live in America, and it's a great place to be. And we live in a good county, and we've got a lot of good people, and we've got people that are trying hard. Now, things I do, you're all not always going to agree with, and that's okay too. But it's just the way it is. But if anybody has a problem with me, they need to address me now.
That's the first thing I've heard about you trying to replace Rosie, so that wasn't me that said that. And if I have a problem with you, I'll come to you, sissy. I'll tell you that I got a problem. Now, you cut some of our services at Belfry Courthouse.
What?
I have a problem with that.
The marriage license?
That's right, and I told you about that. But that's behind me now. You told me that
And I
you
told
done
you why.
made up your mind and you weren't going to change it.
That's right. I can't
And-
afford the
and-
software for over there. It's very time-consuming to write a marriage license.
And I
quite
can't believe
frankly-
you don't have a computer program that you can't copy that and bring it over and them girls used it over there. I didn't understand that.
Well, all this software you can't copy, you have to purchase individually. So,
Okay, all right, I'll take that. The other thing is that you'd made the comment that you were against the tax, and there were other people who made that comment. I have no problem with that. But you made the point, they told me, I was told, that you said you don't need the fiscal court.
no, I mean, I don't need y'all to run my office. I can run my own office.
I don't want to run your office, honey. But we don't give you no money or anything?
You all give me a supplement, but if you cut it off, which I've heard you probably will, that'll be all right too, because I'll have to make do with what I've got.
Well,
That's just the way it is.
There's some savings we got, guys, right there.
That's just the way it is. You have to make do with what you have.
Yes, ma'am.
When I left here the other day, after that occupational tax thing, the one before the last one when you passed it, I went to Hazard. I went to different counties asking them, if you have any customers out of Pike County that purchase a vehicle, would you please send us their paperwork? Because other counties get the fees and we don't. A lot of people don't know that, but I'm sure a lot of people watch this court meeting, so it'll just save me a little money from having to put it in the paper. So guys, if you purchase a vehicle from another county, please request that they send their paperwork to Pike County because we miss out on those fees, and we're already in bad enough shape. So I'd like to think that when I go sit down over there in that seat, that we're all clear.
Never said nothing, never heard that.
I was confronted on the elevator by a lady. I don't care a bit to say her name. If you all want to know it, it won't bother me. She said, "Miss Taylor, I know that you will do the right thing." Just me and her was on the elevator, and I said, "Well, I always try to do the right thing, but you know, what are you talking about?" She said, "If we make a motion," or something to that, I don't know her exact words, said, "for you to take back being the clerk of the fiscal court," said, "would you do that?" And I said, "Well, I'll do anything I have to do. That's just the way it is." Just like when you said, if I don't get my supplement money, I make do with what I have to make do with. You do what you have to do. But I got thinking about that. I don't know all the things that Rosie does. Rosie is 77 years old. She just said she has to go for rotor cuff surgery. She tells me she's behind, and since I have turned over this job to her, I thought, well, maybe I need to know a little bit about what goes on there. Maybe she needs some help. Maybe one of these days, who knows what could happen down the road, there won't be anybody to appoint that to. You never know what will happen. So I went over and I told her, I told her what I just told you. She seemed to be fine with it. Within 40 minutes, like I said, 40 minutes was all it took. Brian was at my door telling me about the phone calls he got.
Rhonda, when I come down to talk to you, which I did, I think it was last Thursday afternoon. I don't know how long it was going on before I spoke with you, but everywhere I was turning, on the elevator, even in your office, everywhere, people was asking me about Rosie, and I just said, I'm gonna go ask her. So that's why I come to you and sit down and asked you what your plans was with that office, and you told me.
You told me you had received telephone calls.
Yes. And I told you, you told me your plans.
You said you had received a lot of, it was either heat or phone calls over the occupational tax, but it was nothing in comparison to what the Rosie situation was. And I mean, I was totally in the blind. It was never my intention to get rid of anybody. It's never my intention to put blame. Oh, and another thing, somebody's added me to a hate group or occupational tax group or whatever it is, something on Facebook. I'm in the process trying to get off right now. I've not been on Facebook in 4 months. So you see how things get misconstrued? But I'm just the type of person, I'll put it out there. I don't mind. I'm not going to go behind anybody's back to tell them anything, and I want them to be upfront and honest with me too. And I'm really a little bit ashamed to have to get up in front of everybody and on TV to tell about this, because this really is not a court issue. This is just an issue that has turned into a runaway train. I just want to derail it right now, right here today.
I don't know who called Brian, but I had a call while I was on vacation that you were going to replace Rosie with Nancy Taylor.
Nancy Taylor was the young lady that, well, not a young lady, but the lady that was on the elevator. Asked me about the court.
That was the remarks. I were on vacation, and I got a call that you was going to replace Rosie with Nancy Taylor. And, you know, we hired Rosie when you said you couldn't do the job. When you first,
I didn't say I couldn't do it.
Said you didn't have the time to do it. And you couldn't do it, right?
Well,
so
I can do anything, but no,
I'm
don't
not
have
saying
the time.
you're not mechanically inclined to do it. What I'm saying is you wasn't available to do it. So you asked the court to
Right.
appoint somebody, and we did. We appointed Rose
And
to
she's
be
been
our
appointed for
clerk
the last 16 years, she told me.
for the tenure of this court. And I think if anything, that if she's gonna be replaced, then you should confront the court and say, you know, I want to put somebody in Rosie's place.
And I
because-
would, but I have no intentions in replacing
Well,
Rosie.
and that's
Rosie
like-
does a good job, but she does need a little help. And I don't mind sending one of my girls when they don't have anything to do over to help her, if she would accept the help.
Well, they said-
I received a letter from her that was signed by her and the judge thanking me for my help. And I had bought her a box of like big paper clips, and they sent those back to me. I guess she said she wasn't allowed to accept them. No gesture that I've ever made towards her or the court has ever been ill-willed.
Has she asked you for help?
No, I volunteered to help.
But I mean, she's not asked the court to get her any help, so I wonder where the help part come in.
She just said, you know, she had a lot to do. She was behind. There was a lot to it. And I said, well, I'd be willing to send you a little help because I just, you know, need to know what you do anyway. Especially being a newly elected clerk. You need to know these things. Like
And
I said,
far as you voting on the tax any way you want to do, that's your business.
right.
And, you know, I did hear what Bobby heard, that you said you didn't need this court, you didn't need your money. And, you know, that's hitting us a low blow because in the past we've always gave Lee a supplement and then she'd give it back at the end of the year. And, you know, you run that office the way you see fit. I don't think anybody's tried to tell you what to do.
Well, I'm trying my very best. But you know, if there's no money there to get a supplement before the occupational tax was passed, that was the whole purpose, was to bring us up till we could get out of the red and have a surplus. Then there really shouldn't be any reason why I shouldn't receive one. But, you know, that's a different issue, and we'll just have to wait to that time and see how the funds are. But in the meantime, there is a breakdown of everything that I've spent in my office. I went ahead and brought the entire year. And like I said, I'm not here.
I don't think that was meant intentionally. See what you're spending. I think Jonda was wanting to keep a handle on what's going on in the county with you and the sheriff, so we'll know what to plan for our next budget.
That's fine. That's fine.
That was what was suggested to me by the state auditor's office, was that we did have the right to request this information so we could see, since we are the 75-25 county, and there's only 11 of them in the state of Kentucky, because I kept saying we don't have, once we approve the budget, we don't see anything they spend, and he said, yes, you can. You can request the $25.50 from the clerk and sheriff, so that way you all can see how the balances are running.
I don't have a problem with it anytime. Anything you want to look at in my office, I mean, it's down there.
So
I'll bring it
that's why
to
I was
you.
bringing it to your all's attention that we needed to look, because usually you all don't see nothing until the audits come out. And then you're looking at deficits in the sheriff's office in the past. So that's when he told me we needed to be able to look at these and keep a handle and see what was going on as it progressed, and not just get hit with it at the end of the year or end of a term.
Does anybody else have anything they want to say or ask me? Okay, I'm going to consider that we're good then. Thank you.
Brian, check the personnel.
Yes, we need to acknowledge the resignation of Jeremy Carroll effective July 10th. Jeremy was a mower for the Public Works Department and has worked for the Fiscal Court since June of 2000. We need to acknowledge the retirement of Rocky Justice effective July 31st of 2015. He's been a mechanic at the maintenance garage since August of 1988. Judge, if you don't care, I'd also like to make another statement. I like to go back the last 2, 3, 4 months, and I like to kind of go over some numbers that this fiscal court's looked at and some of the things that we're planning on doing moving forward. I want to give some cuts that this court's made. I'm not going to give particular names. I'm going to give their job titles. The energy director, he's being cut. We've cut a packer driver out of the solid waste department, a social service worker, Johnny Little. I don't care to mention Johnny's name because he's retiring effective at the end of this month. He was the radio technician. We will not be hiring back for Johnny Little's position. Animal shelter worker, a monitor in the solid waste department. The judge cut $18,000 off one of his administrative assistants' pay a couple of months ago. We hired Anita Haney today as full-time receptionist. That position has already been budgeted. It's in the budget. Just keep in mind that position prior to Bill Deskins was hired at a 3A rate of pay, and it is now a 1A rate of pay, which saves the county $12,739. We have Jeremy Carroll, which effective today effective July 10th, has resigned his position. Now, this is what I want to be clear on. You know, we will rehire for Jeremy Carroll's position because that's a position that we have to fill. But we're going to go through the county and we're going to fill that position. We got to bid it. Someone will bid on it. We'll do the bidding process down until we can eliminate that position. Elizabeth Buckley is the Doug Tackett's secretary over in his office. She's quitting in the middle of next month. We budgeted that already, John, out of the budget. I put a month in there, so her positions is being cut. What we're going to do is we're going to go through the county. I've got a name in mind. I'm not going to share it now. We'll share it when the position happens. We're going to grab an individual to bring in that position, and the duties that she's doing now, we're going to delegate out through the county to another worker. So that's a position right there that we're saving. Over the last 2 months, I've cut off 13 county cell phones, which is a savings. I'm rough guessing. I know 10 was you're looking at about $4,000 right there in cell phones. These are efforts that this court's looking at. This is the efforts that this court's going to look at moving forward. We're always going to be looking on where we can save money, positions that we don't have to fill, positions that we can put on other people to eliminate positions. On these, if you calculate all these positions and things that I just went over, you're looking, this is salary, benefits, life insurance, matching retirement. If you add all that together, the list I just went over calculates to $439,467.56. I wanted to share that with everybody here and just also let you know that moving forward, that's the direction that this court's going to try to go in. That's all I have, and Jeff, I think you got something you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to address the article that was in the paper. I think Julia may have written it in regards to the picture that showed, I think, my road foreman's private truck. I think in fairness to the court, to the public, somebody's phone's ringing. I'm not sure whose it is. But anyway, just real quickly, I'd like to explain what happened. We did have a county truck where my road foreman parks his county truck. It did have a diesel leak, and he did take some gravel to fix the diesel leak from the county truck that got on the diesel got on the county road. And Jackie Darrell did his investigation, and I did my own independent investigation, and his results were the same as mine, that we didn't do anything wrong, and we acted in the interest of basically safety. It wasn't anything illegal or unethical. I don't know what else to say about it. I've gotten a lot of phone calls, but I know members of the court have gotten some phone calls regarding this, but I thought I would try to clear the air and let everybody know that we're not stealing gravel and using anything for personal gain. That's all I have.
John Doug, you have a report?
Very briefly, Judge. I think we're all worn out. We had an executive session, seemed like last week, but it was this morning sometime, and to discuss one matter that's in litigation, and that is the severance tax lawsuit that everybody knows about, that this court filed against Tony Wilder, Commissioner of the Department of Local Government, the Legislative Research Commission, the Clerk of the Kentucky Senate, the Clerk of the Kentucky House. And what we've done is come to an agreement with regard to some of the money that is in the single county coal severance tax account and the disbursement of some of those funds that have been tied up. Procedurally, and I'll be very brief, this case started in the Franklin Circuit Court. An adverse ruling there by Judge Wingate against Pike County, and then on the instructions of this court, I filed an appeal in the Kentucky Court of Appeals, where that case presently is pending. While it was pending, we learned that there were some applications that would be considered by the Department of Local Government, and that the funds in that account may be wiped out, and so all we'd have to win would be a moral victory on the special legislation issue, but there would be no money left. And so my co-counsel and I went into the Franklin Circuit, back to the Franklin Circuit Court, back to Judge Wingate's court, and asked for something called interlocutory relief. And were successful in that action. Judge Wingate issued an order enjoining the Department of Local Government from dispersing the funds in the coal severance tax account. Now, since then, we have been in some extensive negotiations regarding two matters, both of which were discussed along with the procedure that I've just mentioned in our executive session this morning. Those two matters are the City of Pikeville's Marion's Branch application. That was for about $1.380 million. And that has to do with the development at Marion's Branch, a very large project, a project that is good in the opinion of this court, I believe, and these matters can disagree if I state it wrong, but it's a project that's not just good for the City of Pikeville, it's good, Judge, for Pike County. It's a win-win situation. If that thing goes as planned, there are going to be jobs and good jobs developed at. Of course, that's in Magistrate Jeff Anderson's district, number one primarily, although it touches on some other districts. The extent that project is so extensive, and I'm not going to get into details about what all is involved. This court 2 weeks ago, for example, gave the City of Pikeville an easement for a 10-inch water line down Smiley Fork Road to get to US 23. But it was imperative that the City of Pikeville get that money if this project was to go forward. We have been in weeks of negotiations, and I appreciate the input from Magistrate Anderson. I appreciate Donovan Blackburn, the city manager, who I work very closely with in this regard. I appreciate Tony Wilder. You all know Tony, the Commissioner of the Department of Local Government, and his General Counsel for the cooperation. Everyone felt like this was a project that needed to go. It could not go in the face of Judge Wingate's injunction unless we worked something out. Now, along with that came another project, and that was the Elkhorn City Sewage Project. An application had been filed. I think it got amended, the application did. That would be in the city of Elkhorn City. And I want to thank Magistrate Leo Murphy for his cooperation and input with regard to making that a go project, as well as the other people that I have already mentioned, with the exception, of course, of Donovan Blackburn. He is for that project, by the way. But that sewage project, and I don't know that I didn't misplace the figures, Lisa, but I believe that is a total project cost of $3,375,000. Now that funding, Lisa, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is in place, except the City of Elkhorn City needed approval of its LGEDF, and that's the single county coal account monies, of $143,000 from that fund. Now that was the situation. We worked feverishly for several weeks to try to get some kind of agreement in place which would allow us to address those projects and at the same time not yield on the court's legal position with regard to the claim of special legislation. Of course, DLG and the other defendants in the case did not want to yield on their legal position that it was not special legislation. So that was the legal dilemma that we found ourselves in. We came up to Friday. Really, the city of Pikeville is about a week late in finding out the answer to this. But on Friday, I actually called Department of Local Government and said, if we don't have an agreement by the end of the workday, we're just not going to have an agreement. We had to know something so that I could present it to this court. And I think by Sunday, with the help of my co-counsel, David Kaplan, we had an agreement in place. Now, what I'm going to do, having explained all that, I want to read to you, and it's very brief, the pertinent and relevant parts of the agreed order modifying interlocutory relief, and this would be filed in the Franklin Circuit Court. In other words, it would modify Judge Wingate's previous order enjoining the disbursement of the funds. All parties are agreeing to ask that court to modify its previous order entered June 5th, 2015, granting interlocutory relief pursuant to civil rule, which wouldn't mean anything to you all. Here's the exact wording. It is hereby ordered, pursuant to CR 65.08, that DLG is hereby restrained and enjoined from awarding any grants from the Pike County Single County Coal Severance Fund account or otherwise acting on any pending applications for such fund, which shall remain frozen until further orders of this court. The only exception to the foregoing injunction is that DLG may act on the previously filed and pending grant applications filed by Elkhorn City Infrastructure Project and the City of Pikeville, the later being the Marion Branch Water and Sewer Project application. And if such applications are approved as bona fide economic development projects pursuant to KRS 42.4588, disperse funds from the Pike County Single Coal Severance Fund account exclusively for the purposes set forth in those two applications up to the specific amount sought therein. It is further ordered that DLG and Pike County shall file a joint motion with the Court of Appeals in case number, and I'm not going to read that, it's our pending case in the Court of Appeals, seeking to withdraw DLG's motion for interlocutory relief. And let me just explain, they had asked the Court of Appeals to dissolve Judge Wingate's order in that. And Pike County's motion for intermediate relief, we had just asked the court to continue Judge Wingate's order without prejudice on the grounds that these parties have agreed to the interlocutory relief pending appeal from this court. If this court makes any future modifications of this agreed order, which is not consented to by both DLG and Pike County, the non-consenting party will be free to renew its motion in the Court of Appeals. And what that's just said, these funds are going to be frozen, what the balance is, and with these two bites out of it, Elkhorn City and Pike, was not going to be a lot. The news from John is even less than what we had hoped, but hopefully it'll be around 200. I've always said 200 to 250, but be that as it may, that's what that paragraph just said. Final paragraph. This order is entered without prejudice to the merits of the respective positions taken by DLG, Pike County, and the legislative appellees in this court and in the Court of Appeals case numbers, and it's got them there, concerning the constitutionality of House Bill 235 and its procedure for allocating coal severance funds in Pike County, and whether the legislative appellees were proper parties to the action. This order applies pending a ruling from Kentucky's appellate court adjudicating the merits of the appeal. DLG agrees that if House Bill 235 should be ruled unconstitutional, if Pike County is permitted to request that coal severance funds be applied to non-industrial development projects, as is every other coal-producing and coal-impacted county in Kentucky. Then DLG will give priority to projects according to the preference of Pike County. So what I've said is that, and what I'm asking this court to do is to approve my execution and my co-counsel's execution of this agreed order on behalf of the court that will allow two, in my opinion, very worthwhile projects about which the court is now well informed, I hope. And again, I want to thank the magistrates of this court for their patience and for their help. Magistrate Anderson with the Big Marions Branch project, Magistrate Murphy for the Elkhorn City Sewage Project. And by the way, let me say with regard to that, that's right at John Moore's branch. That is an area off of the new construction of 460. And in the opinion of most people, with the exception of the Marions Branch Industrial Development Project, will be the best industrial development area in Pike County, because you can get onto it right off of a new 4-lane highway, and you'll have part of your infrastructure right there in place. And so, again, that it's good for Elkhorn City, but it's good for all of Pike County and all Pike Countyans. I would ask Judge for a motion, a second, a majority of vote approving the entry or the execution of this agreed order by the Pike County Attorney's Office.
Judge, I'll make that motion, and would also like to thank Attorney Hayes. He's put a lot of hours and a lot of work, as well as others have. You know, they also put it's been a lot of trips and a lot of man hours put in, and I think this is going to be a great project, and I think the potential at John Moore's Branch is going to be just, you know, phenomenal once we can, if we ever can get it up and going, and I'll be happy to make that motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Varney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
And I just wanted to say too, on the John Moore branch, there'll be right close for the infrastructure, and we can't have businesses come in if we don't have infrastructure in place, so we'll work on that hard.
And John Moore's Branch is in Pike County, not the city. So it's a good project. It's, hopefully about 200 employees. So,
Judge, if you don't care, Diane Thacker asked me to read something earlier, and I lost track of it, but I'm going to ask her to come on up and read it if you don't care, Diane.
Well, I don't have one in front of me, so I just wanted to remind you all that tomorrow, beginning at 10 and going through 2 or 3 o'clock, the Pike County Health Department is having their grand opening of the garden project. 2 or 3 months ago, one of the Pike County Health Department employees was here and announced that they were going to try to do this. Now, this is in behind our Shelby Valley Senior Citizen Center in Chicks District. There's going to be several different sections to this garden, And the senior citizens is going to use one of the sections and grow some vegetables also. So the health department just wanted me to welcome all of you all to come. It's the grand opening of the garden project for the Shelby Valley area. Thank you.
Diane, that address is 200 Douglas Parkway, located at Carl D. Perkins
Carl D.
Apartments.
Perkins Apartments,
behind it.
right.
And Leslie Hamilton is the contact, and she's got her number listed here, and I want to read it.
Okay.
It's 606-509-5537.
Is there any more?
Yes, Judge, I need to make a correction. John Doug has gotten us the Miller and Wells PLLC invoices. There are two different ones. One is for the coal severance lawsuit, which is $5,045.39. And then there's a bill for the injunction of $2,567.50, so a total of $7,612.89. And there was a courtesy discount of $2,000 on the injunction to bring it to the $2,567.50. So I just want to make that correction to authorize that payment instead of up to the $6,000.
I guess you'll need a motion and a second to authorize
Yes.
that.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson?
Yes.
Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Barney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes.
Judge, if I may, at the risk of getting killed by some of you guys who've been here all day, but I want to make sure that everyone understands that David Kaplan, my co-counsel in this severance tax case, had agreed when we appealed this case to cap his attorney's fees at $5,000. Now, what happened, no one was anticipating that the money would be distributed, and so we had to go back to the Franklin Circuit Court to get an injunction. And that's what brought about the extra $2,000. But there will be no more attorney fees on the appeal. It will move forward. I'm hoping that there's a legislative solution in the next budget session on the amount of money that's left in there, and that'll be made available to this court, and we can all get out of court. But I just want to make sure that everybody understands that, Julia. I hope you do, and because it is important. They said the fees were capped at $5,000. He's just doing the rest pro bono. He feels that strongly about this case, and if if something happens in the next session, this court will just have to deal with it then. Thank you, Judge.
Judge, one question. John Doug, do we need to rescind that vote we took earlier about a $7,000 cap?
6,000.
Or 6,000, I mean?
Yeah, go ahead and have a motion to rescind that.
All right, I'd make that motion that we rescind that last article that we voted on for the $6,000 cap on the fees on the lawyer.
I'll second the motion.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson?
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy?
Yes.
Magistrate Robinson? Magistrate Dodson?
Yes.
Magistrate Barney?
Yes.
Judge Deskins?
Yes. Is there any other comments?
Been a long time. Oh, well, you. Is there a lot of minor stuff now?
On the Elkhorn City wastewater treatment plant, tonight at 5:30, they're having a public meeting for their CDBG grant application. So if anybody, of course, the court or Leo wants to show up tonight at 5:30, I'll be there too. But they have to have the public meeting in order to apply for the CDBG. And the money that John Doug was talking about, the co-severance money, is for a match of Pride money, so which is federal money that they got to aid on this project.
As I understand it, that's the key that is going to make this funding go.
Correct.
And would you brag on this court, Magistrate Murphy? Even if I wear a black hat, I don't need bragging, but this court has really been great, and it's been a great experience for me to watch people work together for the common good, and I just congratulate every one of these magistrates and county judge and deputy judge Moore.
Thank you. Is there any other comments? I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Judge. I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Magistrate Anderson, Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson, Magistrate Dotson, Magistrate Varney, Judge Deskins.
Yes.
Yes.